Hello there. Come in. Please have a seat. Yes, this is, the first one of the day. Don't worry. We'll get through it pretty quickly and pretty painlessly. I've just got a few things that we need to talk about. Yes, Miss Melatonin, I totally understand. You are a very busy lady. But please, this is very important. A quarterly performance review only happens once a quarter. So you need to understand that this is something that we as a company need you to abide by. Okay? All right, then. So please have a seat. Yeah, it's totally fine. I mean, don't worry too much. This is going to be very painless, okay? Okay, so how about we get started then? Melatonin. This is going to be, as I said, your quarterly performance review. We're just going to go, it's a standard quarterly review, nothing too serious, nothing too crazy about it. We are going to go over some of the basics about who you are as Melatonin, because I have so many people that I'm going to have to go through, having everything sort of jotted down just so that I get a bearing, so that when I relay this information to the big people up top, that it's really not a big problem, okay? Then I'm going to go over some company changes that we have going on here. Some of the company changes are pretty major, but don't worry. None of them are going to affect you directly. It's all going to be in very small, very, very small changes that will probably make your life a little bit worse. But ultimately you're going to stay because the job market is very terrible. And so there's no reason for you to leave because we've basically trapped you here. Then we're going to go over some of your personal stats. Your personal stats are going to, of course, be things like, how effective are you? What grammage you have? Where do you exceed and where do you need to work on, that sort of thing, right? And as you know, we never say that someone really it goes above and beyond, because if we say you go above and beyond, then you'll feel like you're satisfied with your work, and we don't want our workers to be satisfied with their work. Then we're going to talk about areas of improvement. This is something where I'm going to tell you where I have seen, I've watched you, not just you, Miss Melatonin, I watch everybody in the office, just making sure that everybody's doing their jobs. And I do notice some trends, some worrying trends, but don't worry, in telling you this, it will act as like a first and last warning. Yes, absolutely. Okay, and then afterwards we will go over sort of any feedback that you have for me. We here, we love to say that we love your feedback, right? We want to make sure that you feel taken care of, that you feel like you are valued, right? And we also want to make sure that, and when I present this information up top, I'm presenting my own review, right? So any feedback that you have for me is going to be presented to the people up top. And, so if you have any problems with me, make sure to let me know so that I can work on them, so that I can tell the people up top. I'm definitely going to write anything that you say down and give it to them. I'm definitely not going to rephrase things that you say in a positive light so that people think that I'm doing a really wonderful job. Okay. Absolutely. Okay. So how about we go into... Okay, so since this is a standard review, we'll just give you a little bit of information. So we have been going strong for millennia. This company has, but as you know, we don't like to brag about that sort of thing. We are, of course, still a pretty small startup. And as, of course, with any startup, there's a lot of time and emotional involvement that you really don't get in sort of those really huge, big companies. This is a pretty small operation. Might have been going on for a very long time, but we're still trying to get established, So if there are things that are not really working for you, or things that sort of other like larger companies have that we don't have, we ask that you, at the very least, keep in mind that we are a small bean company and that we can't really do very much about it. Okay. Next, of course, this is something that you probably have heard about. This is a trend that's been happening with the quarterly reviews, but we're just sort of making it official now. Every quarterly review is going to lead to at least 2 people being laid off on every team. Now, this may come as a shock, or this may come as a little worrying, but don't worry. So long as you are not the bottom 2 people, you are fine, and you are not going to be laid off. So who are the bottom 2 people, right? That will be people who are the lowest performers, people who see this as only a job, and people that are complainers, right? We don't want people that complain. We don't want people, if our hours are 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., very reasonable. But if we see you packing up your stuff at 9 p.m., we know that you're not serious about this company, right? We want you to want to stay until 10, 11, 12, until the work gets done, right? This is something that, I'm telling you this because I know you understand, Miss Melatonin, but this is something that some people just don't understand. I think I saw numerous colleagues of yours. They end up going at they start packing up at 8:59. Can you imagine? That's insanity. Okay, so of course, I know that you have been amazing at the past quarterly reviews, so I don't think you really have very much to worry about. You've been very pleasant in the past. We have wonderful chats. We gab, we talk, we gossip. I mean, it's truly just been wonderful. But every review is different, so this might, and I did want to, give you a little bit of information. There is going to be a company change that's going to be announced pretty soon, completely company-wide, and that is we are going to have a new head of security. Yes, the old head of security did unfortunately pass away. I think that she had, she did a very good job. She was very good at her job, but being the head of security, you have a lot of targets on your back and a lot of people that want your job. And, this new person, they have been sort of rising through the ranks. They're a very hard worker. Yes. What was their name again? Oh yeah. Cancer. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Okay. So next, let's just go over some of the basics. So of course I know who you are, Miss Melatonin. So I'm just going to write your name down, Melatonin. So time at the company, you have been here since the inception of the company. It has been, you've been here for a very long time. Your loyalty is very much appreciated. And I'm glad that you haven't found anything else and haven't been able to find anything else. In terms of your general attitude, I would say that I've heard mostly positive things. Yes, absolutely. There has been a few complaints. You do tend to drink too much water. Yes, as you know, water, while it is free, you do have to understand that we as a company end up paying for it. We do like to bring in sort of fresh, sort of spring water for you guys. We want to make sure that we take care of you, but just understand that just because we present you with a free option, you need to think about the optics. If you're chugging a lot of water, you're using up a lot of company resources. And if you're using up a lot of company resources, then do you care about the company, right? So just something to keep in mind. Your overall performance, we will talk a little bit about your performance and where you need to improve, but overall your performance is pretty average. I would say, you're doing pretty good. I wouldn't say that you're sort of hitting it out of the park, otherwise, Otherwise, we would be having a very different conversation. But I also wouldn't say that you're slacking. Melatonin. You have been integral to this company. You've been a pillar in this company for a very long time, and that, to me, is like the epitome of average. Next, let's talk about just like your proper dosage. That is, of course, okay. So 5 to 10. Gotcha. And then your usefulness is very interesting. So you only are useful when the company is trying to sleep, right? When the company is trying to fall asleep, right? So that is where your primary goal in the company, right? Yeah. Okay. So that is sort of like your day in and day out. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And I know I see here that you did send in a request to work from home. I do think that being at the company is very important. Company culture is truly a must. Sure. Absolutely. Just you're here, but there are a lot of the higher ups end up working from home, and you end up having to create a lot of Zoom meetings with the higher ups. So really being here, you still have to create a meeting and have to go to a virtual meeting, even regardless. But I still think that you being here creates sort of a company culture that we want to strive to maintain. Right. And the company culture, of course, is you sitting alone in an office and talking to barely anybody. And when someone does come to talk to you, it's mainly to distract you. And it's to, hold up superficial relationships that you don't really have a care in the world to maintain if you ever leave this job. However, I would say that there's a certain je ne sais quoi to staying at a company and making sure that you're here so that we can make you more miserable. Now, of course, we do suggest all of the company employees use the gym time. The reason for this is because one of the higher ups is really obsessed with fitness. I believe they just got into an MLM, and because of that, they sort of believe that if you are not putting in the work to sort of become addicted to the gym and to sort of have an eating disorder or to in any way, shape, or form, basically have a toxic relationship with your body, they do think that you're then doing it incorrectly. Now, of course, if you go to the gym regularly and you're having a perfectly good time, you have a really good relationship with your body, that of course will not do. It has to be unhealthy for the higher up to be satisfied. So next, let's go over, so that was just the basics. Let's go over some company changes. So like I said before, Cancer is our new head of security. Very, very good. So I would like you as Melatonin. You are one of the few women that are in the company. So I'm not saying this because you're a woman, but I am saying this because I think that you bring a nurturing energy. You bring an energy that I want you to make Cancer feel welcome. I want you to throw maybe put in a lot of extra work that I'm not going to ask any of the male coworkers to do, and just put in some work to create maybe a party or something that will make Cancer feel welcome. Yeah, absolutely. We're not going to pay you for it, and we will expect it from you from here on out that you are sort of the point person for any sort of events. Just another responsibility to add to your plate to make sure that you are overworked. Yeah. Okay. Next, there has been an upward tick. The company has had an upward tick of screen time. Of course, this will lead to you, in particular, Melatonin. You're going to have to do a little bit of crunch, right? You're going to have to stay here a little bit later than usual. Now, I know that you stay here past 9 p.m., right? Otherwise, we'd be having a different conversation. You stay here until at least midnight, right? That's going to have to change a little bit. You're going to have to stay here at the very least until 3 p.m. But don't worry, we do have a really wonderful lawn out front if you need to take like a nice little nap. But it can't go over 15 minutes because that would be too much. Okay. Next, because of a few things, the work hours are going to be reduced. Now, as I said, you are going to have to be here. There is going to be a lot of crunch, but officially work hours are reduced. You're not going to technically be here for as long as you have been. Thus, compensation is going to be reduced, but listen, you're not here for compensation. This is a family. This is basically just a startup, and you care about this business. You care about this company and not your compensation and your own personal livelihood, right? Absolutely. You get it. You totally get it. I also wanted to say that we're bringing in a few consultants. Tattoo Inc. is going to be here as a consultant. So again, make them feel welcome, as well as Crabs is going to be here, right? So Crabs, they're a little weird. So, I'm not going to expect too much, but just try to make sure that they don't find us anything to really complain about. But Tattoo Inc. is going to be a pretty regular consultant. So I'm going to make sure that you make them feel welcome. There, of course, we have counselor services now as well. And so that is Omega-3. So if you ever have any problems, you can go to Omega-3 and then sort of let them know about any of your issues. Yeah. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about your personal stats, right? So like we mentioned before, your main dosage is 5 to 10 milligrams. That is pretty good. At the company, we find that 10 milligrams tends to be the upper end. And it can be in either like gummy or pill form, right? And I think that in terms of how you work, I think that when you work as gummy form, your dosage can vary. Pill form is very specific. And so we love specificity here at the company. So if you could work on your gummy form a little bit, I think that would be very helpful. But we do love the sugariness of it. Next, of course, I'm going to have to mention that this is, you know what, I'm going to leave this. I'm going to move this. I don't think that this is necessary to bring up in your personal stats. So we'll move it to the areas of improvement, okay? Don't worry about it. So next, you are effective, but one note, right? This is not feedback, right? This is just how you work, right? You're very effective in the one thing that you do. You are, in terms of your personal stats, I have noticed, if the sun is out, your effectiveness does end up going down. I do wonder if this is related to sort of something to do with horoscopes, something to do with your like sort of sun sign and moon sign and rising. I do think that this is information that, of course, is private, but really keep that in mind because, if a particular planet is in retrograde and it's affecting you, we want to know. Absolutely, we want to know so that we can work around you, right? And so that we can make sure to pay you less. Okay, and then you do, as I said, you do a lot of overtime, which is wonderful. I do see here you did ask for a promotion. Yeah, you've been a bit of a squeaky wheel about that, huh? Yeah. A promotion right now is a little bit difficult for us. Things are changing. We're sort of in flux and we don't have the budget to really give you a promotion like you ask. Now, of course, I am giving you a bit more responsibility. So it is in a way a little bit of a promotion. It's just not official. It's not an official promotion, but comes with that sort of like title change and compensation that goes with it. But that shouldn't really be the reason that you want a promotion, right? You'd really want a promotion because you want to sort of provide more value to the company, right? Because the company is your end all and be all. So of course, if you're going to do that, you need to be able to prove that you can do these things. So we're going to give you that some new responsibilities, like sort of like event planning and making sure that you're able to sort of do that. And then once we're comfortable, and once we expect you to be able to do that, and once we rely on you to be able to do that, we still won't give you a promotion, but we're just going to know that we can, and so that we'll get that process started and rolling. Yeah. Okay. And I do see here that you did start a book club. It is in your personal stats. It says you're very proud of it. It's very good. We are going to have to cancel the book club. It is, in fact, a poor use of company time. Morale isn't something that we truly care about here at the company. So, as a book club, we're going to say no to that. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about areas of improvement. Okay, I've only got a short list. You are not in the bottom, so you are not going to be laid off. But if you give me reason to, you totally could be. So we need you to be a little bit more personable. Yeah, some people say that because you work for so long, you end up saying no to a lot of the events that are, that people have, or like housewarming parties, or there is, of course, like an in-house masseuse that comes by, and there's sort of like a masseuse group massage that ends up happening, and you end up saying no to that because you find it a little bit strange. I would say lean into it, right? Make sure that you're wanting to do those things, right? So don't go to them if you don't want to. This is not pressure. I'm not pressuring you to do these things. I'm just saying this is personal feedback, and that we want you to want to do it, right? We want you to change your feelings, and to change who you are as a person, to fit our mold, of like a cog in a machine. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so yeah, be personable, come to parties. I sort of mentioned that. We need you to come to a bit more parties, a bit more events, yeah. Which you're going to have to if you're going to do some of this event planning situation. We need you to be a bit more effective, right? Like I mentioned before, you're effective, but you're one note. And it's 5 to 10 milligrams, right? Now, we need you to be more effective when it comes to lesser dosage, and more effective when it comes to prolonging that sleep, right? Because you're very good at making people fall asleep, but you're not very good at keeping people asleep. And I think that's an area of improvement that you, Miss Melatonin, really need to work on. It really shouldn't be an excuse. If an alarm is blaring, if, the sprinklers are going, we need you to be able to keep the person asleep. Okay? All right. And of course, we need you to be this is a bit cynical, but we need you to be a bit addictive, a bit more addictive. So if a person takes more than 10 milligrams of you, Miss Melatonin, it does end up changing a bit of their physiology, and makes them a bit more addictive, and makes the natural melatonin, which is also you, it makes it a little bit harder for them to produce it by themselves, right? And so we need you to make that happen at a lower dosage. Instead of it being above 10 milligrams, what if it was above 5? Think of the amount of people that take melatonin between 5 to 10 milligrams. That's a whole market that we are not exploiting, right? And so we need you to be able to step it up a little bit. Okay? All right. And that's it in terms of areas of improvement. Do you have any feedback for me? Oh, and of course, just a reminder that I do, in fact, take care of your compensation, and I am the one that chooses whether you get fired or not. So I keep that in mind when you're giving me a bit of feedback right now, okay? Okay, so I am perfect. I'm definitely not being a little misogynistic towards you, and I'm definitely treating you with the utmost respect. Wonderful. You know what? That's a really great feedback. I'm so glad that we're able to have such a very close one-on-one sort of like review, and we're able to really hit it off in like a good way. Yeah. Okay. Well, you have a wonderful time. You can go back to work, and I'll bring in the next person. I believe the next person is going to be Headaches. He has a very specific job, and I do think that he's going to have to be let go. But it is what it is. So, you have unless he convinces me otherwise, of course. So, you have a great day, and make sure to stay here past midnight. Okay. All right then. Bye-bye.